What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Final Fantasy Entertainment and Podcast Network. Today, we are going to break down the new trailer for Stranger of Paradise. And, man, you've come to the right channel because we have the Firaga Fighter, Vinny, with us. And Vinny is a huge Final Fantasy 1 fan. So, with Stranger of Paradise taking place in that same world, here he got all the knowledge right there, Vinny. So, at any point during the trailer, tell me to stop it. We'll stop it. We'll talk about it. So let's get into this. What do you think, Vinny? What do you think?
Sounds good. Let's go.
All right, here we go. All right, right off the bat, rated M, man. Love it.
Watching you risk your lives to save us made me realize something. I was wrong before.
Okay, so he's carrying somebody, probably Sarah, right? The princess at this point. Do you think that this is like later on in the game? Because we're gonna see in the trailer later on that like he's like, "What have I done?" And he's got Sarah in that, and the classic like she's gonna die pose, and you know what I mean. Like, so is that do you think this takes place after, he kind of picks her up after "What have I done"? Maybe he embraces chaos, right? And he becomes chaos or something. Yeah.
I mean, it would fit with how Final Fantasy 1 goes.
What do you
Kind of,
yeah. Just go
kind of like,
briefly tell us what that's all about. Like, what do you?
because he becomes chaos in Final Fantasy 1. So I'm not sure where this fits in the game's timeline, in Origin's timeline, because this might be the beginning, this might be the end. So it's hard to speculate. So like if this is in the beginning, then it could be like his uh his I guess sort of redemption. But if it's towards the end, then this is probably how you see him become chaos.
Okay.
Mia and I must survive. We must.
So Mia is her sister.
That all may look to in times of doubt.
We do see Mia in Final Fantasy 1 actually. Because it doesn't really say much. Doesn't say much, but we do see Mia.
And
yeah.
And in the beginning of Final Fantasy 1, your first quest is to go save the princess from Garland.
So it looks like they're getting married.
So they were probably, in love, and then he turned evil.
And then everybody forgot about him, like, because they keep talking about forgetfulness. So maybe at the beginning of Final Fantasy 1, if we're assuming this is a prequel, that she's just kind of forgotten who Jack is. So but yeah, okay.
Well, it
Bravo, Jack.
This is a new character. We don't know who this is, unless it's somebody from Elfheim. We're assuming.
or this is that the dark elf prince that you have to fight and get the scepter from.
Okay.
The one that has the actual elf prince slumbering.
Oh, so is he the one that put the slumber curse on the prince elf?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So
because he sends you on a quest to get something because he's in disguise, and then after you bring him the item back, he turns into that monster. Well, his real form.
okay.
Pretty sure he's called the Dark Elf or something along those
Something
lines.
along-
I don't know if you made it to that point in the game yet.
Not on this replay. No. I mean, I've played and beat the game before, but it's been a long time. So that's cool. So I know that it took place about 500 years ago when the prince was put under the slumber. So
Right,
one of my theories was that this was actually taking place during that time. But
right. So
yeah.
it seems like this game might take place before, during, and after. Well, before and during, really, of Final Fantasy 1, because when you kill Garland, you accidentally send him 1,000 years in the past, and if he's 1,000 years in the past, then he absolutely could meet this dark elf and befriend him, and then the dark elf could help I mean, he could help the dark elf put the actual prince to sleep.
Mm. Maybe like he
This
realizes that the prince needs to go to sleep. It's kind of like one of those things. The prince needs to go to sleep to keep the continuity intact or something.
right, and this could be the story of what Garland does in those 1,000 years
Hmm.
that he's gonna turn into chaos.
Okay. There's
I
that
like how it
Marlboro
shows a
run.
Marlboro and the Tonberry.
Yeah,
I like
Marlboro and
how
a Tonberry.
it's showcasing some weapons, and it's looking like your AI counterpart over there is using fists. So
Hmm.
I'm wondering if they're locked into classes. Like maybe he's locked into monk.
Well, you can like off the demo, like you can change classes. Like,
But your AI counterpart can as well.
you know what? I'm almost certain, but I mean, I'd have to. It's been a while since I played the game, and you didn't even get the chance to play the demo.
I didn't even get the chance to
Yeah.
play the demo. No.
So,
Attachments to this world will just make it
Yeah.
harder to do our duty. It's a mercy to forget.
it's a mercy to forget. That comes up a lot, like this
Fighting's what I
forgetfulness
live
stuff.
for.
So we're starting to see some fiends now. That's Tiamat.
Yeah,
I am Sophia. Well met.
we know that's
All I
Sophia.
know now is that I want to see this.
Dude, there's so many bro like fist bumps in this game. I mean, like bro,
I
I'm
know.
I'm just saying bro, but like yeah, we got two ladies in here too, but like there's so many fist bumps in here. You know what I mean? It's so campy, so good. I'm actually ready for that. You know what I mean? I'm ready for like the cheesy dialogue, the freaking Limp Biscuit. I'm ready for that just to kind of like have a good time with this game, and it also being a mature rated game is just gonna be. I'm excited. We don't really get to see any strong language in this either, but I'm excited for strong language because obviously like bullshit isn't a strong language, but so I'm excited for that too.
Through to the end.
Which makes us warriors of light, like in the prophecy.
I know you don't want to hear this.
Then don't say it.
No, can't do. This one's not like the rest.
Do you know what he means by that? Like
What?
Like this one's not like the rest. Like
I'm not sure. Now in Final Fantasy 1, Bahamut is in the game. He's the Dragon King. You don't actually fight him. You don't do anything with him. You just bring him the Rat's Tail from Mirage Tower, or the Trials, and that allows you to upgrade your job class. So I'm wondering if this is the dragon you fight in that tower that gives you the Rat's Tail.
okay.
Unless it's Bahamut and you actually fight, the Dragon King.
Bahamut's
But-
like, yo, you don't, no, like, but you're not the warriors of light.
Right.
No, Bahamut knows more, as always in Final Fantasy. He
Dragon King.
yeah. But dude, yeah, like, can you imagine? I mean, it definitely looks pretty upset. You know what I mean? Like, it's spitting out blood at you.
Right.
So, like, being Bahamut, that would be interesting if that was. Now we do know who this is.
Yep, this is the Kraken,
Yeah.
the Water Fiend.
The water fiend here. Yeah, so okay. Oh, I do want to stop it real quick and kind of go back to Bahamut one more time. We do know that Bahamut gives you the upgraded job classes. And according to a tweet from Stranger of Paradise, like they said, Pugilus becomes monk, and then like once you master that, they were like, who knows? Maybe there's higher job ranks that you can earn. So that's just kind of something. Maybe they kind of allow that to happen if that's not Bahamut, and you go to Bahamut, and like they kind of keep that intact, and Bahamut takes your monk and turns it into like freaking I don't know, whatever a monk would go into. Muhammad Ali, I don't know. How excited are you to fight these fiends, dude?
I'm really excited. Monolith, personally, I think Monolith was one of the harder ones. And I like the designs that they use for these fiends. Tiamat looks amazing. The Kraken looks like a organic pile. It's
Yeah.
It's not it's not like that cartoony Final Fantasy that you're used to. Like all these things, it definitely has the Souls flavor in it.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like something straight out of Resident Evil.
I
Um,
almost like. Okay, so what was the order of fiends that you fight in Final Fantasy One?
it goes Lich, then Monolith, then Kraken, then Tiamat, and then you
Okay.
fight all four of them again in kind of like a boss rush.
So this, I don't know if it's going to be following the order then, because it seemed like Sophia comes into play after you beat the Tiamat. After you beat Tiamat,
Hmm.
so Tiamat, if Tiamat's after Marlith, but looks like Sophia's right there with Marlith. So she's already
Hmm.
in the party going against Marlith. So I don't know if the order is going to be out. It's going to be
Well, um, Tiamat wasn't the hardest. Tiamat was definitely probably second hardest, because she was able to use most of the elements. Monolith is obviously just fire.
mm,
Um, but Monolith was definitely hard. So if they switched up the order, then it would make sense
yeah.
because Monolith, I mean, 6 arms, 6 swords, and fighting
Yes.
her in a volcano.
Marlith looks like a freaking last boss. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah, Marlith looks awesome. All right, so I just wanted to point that out there. Like they have a full party right now, a full party of 5.
Hmm. And here it looks like we have the Lich, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, Lich. Yeah, I missed that part.
I don't give a damn who you are. All right, so what do you think we're handing off here? This black
See,
orb.
this is honestly something that I have not been able to grab a very good speculation on from any of the trailers.
Mm,
I'm assuming it's
the crystal of
something to do with
darkness,
the
bro.
crystals. Yeah, maybe a crystal of darkness, something along those lines. But from all of the trailers I've watched, I've been trying to speculate. The
Mm,
fact that earlier in the trailer they say something like "We're the warriors of light," like the prophecy.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's um, it's kind of weird because in Final Fantasy One, they know that they're from the prophecy. Like the king tells them, you
Yeah.
are the warriors of light from the prophecy. So
And they
I
all
don't think
show
this is
up with crystals. They all show up with their own crystal. Yeah,
right.
that's
And
yeah.
and obviously Garland wasn't in your party in the first one. He's, the main bad guy. So it's
Do
it's
you
it's
think that this is the chaos crystal? Like this is the birth of chaos?
oh, you know what? In Garland's in that decrepit dilapidated castle,
Mm-hmm.
there was that black orb that sent him into the past. When you defeat him, he
Mm.
gets sucked into that black orb. That might be what this is.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So he's carrying it. That's
Where
it's
did that
something
come
special
from?
to him.
What
I'm pretty
strange?
sure it's what corrupts him too.
Whoa. You know what? I didn't see that the first time I watched this trailer. Who is that? Is that is that Princess Sarah? Like, doesn't
I'm not sure, but it definitely looks like this is in the future right now. Like this looks like a very
yeah. Look at
like look at
the
the room,
neon lights.
the neon lights, and then we have this window in that like field of
That he's always
vegetation that
walking
he's
through.
walking
Yeah.
through.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Okay.
is this is
Strange.
odd.
So maybe it's that's the entity that gives him the black orb, and now he's gone into this world, and
Hmm.
now yeah, he's got to do something with it. If it's the chaos crystal, maybe he's the one that has to introduce chaos into this world or something. I don't know.
Jack Garland.
I'm a stranger here, likely to wander off before long. And when I do, you'll forgive me. Sarah,
Mm.
I'd like you to have this.
But this is very special to you.
You'll just forget. I won't.
It's a lot of forgetfulness going on right now, man.
Hmm. The whole game's about amnesia.
What was the first in the first game? What made everybody forget?
Um, the the so the fact that the Warriors of Light defeated Chaos
Mm-hmm.
is what fixes the timeline and essentially makes it so that everything that you did in that game didn't happen. You save the world, but at the same time, you because you go 1,000 years in the past at the end of the game, and you defeat all the fiends, and then you defeat Chaos, so that he cannot um, come back 1,000 years later.
Okay.
And then so you make it so that 1,000 years you wipe out the fiends, which is why they're stronger, because 1,000 years ago they were stronger than they were 1,000 years later, which I don't know why, but 1,000 years to train sounds like enough time. But yeah, so you basically wipe the timeline so that everything you did didn't happen, and everybody in the world forgets who you are because you never actually did any of those things, technically.
Crazy theory right off the bat, and then I'm going to write the thing. What if it's a freaking infinite loop, right? Like, so what if, like, at this point in the center of the loop is in Final Fantasy 1, where it was just like, where, hey, you going back and you reset the timeline, but what happens 1,000 years into that future, 1,000 years after Final Fantasy 1, Chaos comes back. So you have to go back to the past, 1,000 years to the past, which is the end of Final Fantasy 1. All right, dude, let's do it. Just ignore my theories; they're dumb.
So this to me, I need to get a better look at his full body,
Yeah.
which I think is a little forward.
Okay.
Yeah, so looking at his knees, it looks like this is Chaos.
This is actual Chaos right here.
Yeah, because in Final Fantasy 1, his character model, he has faces on his knees, and it looks like his knees might have that kind of character model going on.
Sorry. So let me go over here. All right, go ahead. Let's see if we can get like a good look at maybe those knees a little bit.
So he says we're almost there, Jack, just a little further. I'm wondering if that black egg is Chaos's crystal, like you said, which is what's been corrupting Garland, and Chaos is what's guiding Garland into doing all these things so that Chaos can basically manipulate him into doing what he wants so that Chaos can come back, and then he takes over Garland and becomes Chaos. Which is why Jack is saying, I must kill Chaos, and then maybe through that, Chaos is able to take over him at the end.
Ooh. Okay. This is Chaos. Maybe Chaos has already been defeated, and he's been trapped in this orb like a freaking genie for 1,000 years, and gives him a serious kink in the neck. You know what I mean? He's like, get me out of here, bro. So yeah, that's cool. I like that.
What have I done?
And this is him unleashing Chaos. What have I done? It's broken. Chaos broke, bro. Chaos broke. All right, now for this part, we do know that there's like the copyright thing, so I'm gonna actually turn it down just a little bit, just to see if we can get away with it without having the demonetize. But we don't care. We're bringing this to you guys. You know what I mean? So
now this is that field that we saw in that little rectangle in that futuristic looking room. But so from what like the little bit of story tidbits that they're giving us, seems like Garland was a good guy. I mean, he's the best knight in the kingdom, and there's got to be a reason why he, becomes evil. The theme of forgetfulness, where he says it's a mercy to forget. Those were your words. He probably forgets who he was and becomes evil, or doesn't remember any of this.
I do want to say that Jack is the new Chaos. Like I think we can like just basically make a supercut of this trailer. Jack Jack, Jack. Like he's saying Jack so many times.
Is he on an iPhone right now?
Dude, that's what I'm saying, man. This is what I'm saying. Like I thought it sounded like a dumb theory, but if it's 1,000 years ahead of Final Fantasy 1, like if it's 1,000 years after the ending of that, phones, iPhones, music, earbuds, and all this other stuff comes into play, and then you go back 1,000 years, just like you would do, like just like at the end of Final Fantasy 1, you go back 1,000 years. Maybe like it's kind of something similar where it takes place in this future 1,000 years, and I don't know, maybe like it's just the cycle repeating itself in a different loop, right? And I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, he's holding like modern technology, man. Like he uses modern technology. And if you think about it, his name is Jack. Like that's such a like a generic modern name,
non-medieval name.
Yeah. So yeah,
this guy resembles so much of the dark elf from Final Fantasy 1, it seems like to me. I'm refreshing my memory, but I don't know if you can I don't know if you could see this. No,
is it
kind of getting there.
Oh, there. Okay.
So that's the dark elf from Final Fantasy 1.
Oh my god, yeah, that's
There's
totally
resemblances there.
You can even see the little horn on his head, like they're trying to like give
Right.
like to the mimic the. Oh yeah, that's okay. That's got to be the dark elf then. Okay,
Right.
But he seems so friendly here.
Well, he does the same thing in Final Fantasy 1. He pretends to be somebody else, because he asks you to go on a quest for him to get something. And when you bring it back to him, that's when you fight him. He says, you fools, now I'm, this is my final form.
Oh, okay.
And I believe he drops the Jolt tonic, which wakes up the Elf Prince.
Okay.
So yeah, like he just resembles that dark elf to me so much.
I 100% agree, man. You never forget your first love,
Right, never forget.
So here we are standing in that open field,
and it's
yeah.
I don't know. There's nothing like that. I mean, you're going off of the 16-bit graphics of Final Fantasy 1.
Oh.
And then here's that iconic at the end.
Oh man, you know what I mean?
At the end of the game, when it tells you, this is probably his dilapidated castle.
Yeah, man, did it my way. There we go, March 18th. I think there might be. Is there something at the end of this, or is that it?
I mean, there's 2 seconds.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
All right,
dude. Okay, so we're gonna close this out and just kind of get your a quick thoughts, man. What are your quick thoughts on this?
Quick thoughts. I mean, I'm excited for it. Seeing Square Enix making a Souls-like game and using a team like Team Ninja, who has had success making a Souls-like game, because there are plenty of Souls-like games that are just awful, where they try and imitate the formula, and Team Ninja made Nioh and Nioh 2, and they are widely considered to be like proper Souls-like clones. And the only thing that can make this game better for me is if it was made by From Software. That's really it. But Team Ninja, I'm sure they're going to do a great job. Final Fantasy is a winning formula, and made by Square, and I trust Square. So I'm super excited for this. The story seems like it's very in-depth. It looks like there's more to it looks like they actually wanted to make a story for Final Fantasy 1.
I think
it looks
they
great.
have what Nomura and Nojima is involved, right? I believe. So I mean, it's definitely going to have that Final Fantasy flair, that Final Fantasy flavor to it. And it's going to be already looks like they're trying to introduce some kind of convolution to it, which is I'm excited for this particular like world, right? Final Fantasy 1,
Right.
especially if we're thinking like if we kind of nailed down like this is just a 1,000 year loop just repeating itself again, and chaos once out. And here we go, man. I'm excited.
I'm gonna take the title maybe more literally than I should, but it's Final Fantasy Origins. I'm going to place my bets that this is how Garland became evil, and you play as them. Because, I mean, if there's a prophecy, prophecies aren't just around for a week, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
they might assume that they are the prophesized warriors of light, and they are not. And then the real warriors of light come and fix everything, but they they might think they're the warriors of light and they need to fulfill the prophecy, and they're not the warriors of light. So they're trying to fulfill a prophecy that isn't theirs, which is screwing everything up, which is why they're going to fight these fiends. They're screwing everything up because they're not the ones supposed to be fighting it, and then the real warriors of light come behind them and fix everything.
That's cool. I like that too, man. All right, well, this has been a breakdown of the Final Fantasy Origin Stranger of Paradise trailer. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you, Vinny, for joining me for this.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. You guys take care. See you next time.
Have a great night.